like, yeah, I guess I'll punch with him. Like, but CJ, the oldest man here. Old at 23. I'm way too old for this job. But CJ, the one thing I love about Renegades is if they would have clinched probably by Regional 2, they probably would have came out early and just boot camp for like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Because these guys care so much. They show up before anyone else. They grind it out. They've been here for 3 weeks at this point. They want this so badly. They were so close last time, 9th place. They want more.
I think everybody continuously doubts OCE as a complete region, and they come in every single
They
major.
grind, and they get results.
Every single major trying to prove a point. I think this could be the major that Renegades proves their point.
I do think it matters to them so much. It's fascinating to me to see the dichotomy of all the videos we've seen so far. Every team's been like, oh, we just want to have a good time. Like, this team actually has a good time. They actually are such goofballs off the pitch and on the pitch, but at the same time, it matters to them so much, Bates.
It really does matter to them. I mean, listen, they have OC on their back. That's why they're here early. They understand that they don't have the opportunity to scrim against the best in the world all the time. So when you're given that chance, you make sure you get here early. You make sure that preparation is there. So when these type of matchups come up, when you got to go up against Seiko, you already know how he plays. You are from the scrims. You know how Metro approaches the ball. You know how Wade's a sniper. And then you take all that into account and you play your game.
And they got to have confidence here, Gibbs, coming in, knowing that they were able to, in this environment, beat Endpoint at the Fall Major. Can they do it again? We're going to find out. Chat, let us know who you think is going to win in the Verizon fan vote. Use hashtag END or hashtag RNG, depending on who you are rooting for there. Gibbs, this is a tough one.
This is a tough one. Huge upset last time around. I don't think it happens again. I have Endpoint winning this group. I have to pick them here, so I'm going Endpoint.
Oof. Ooh, this is so tough, so tough. I want to back CJ.
Do it.
But I can't.
Oh.
I can't. I was talking to Seiko, and we were talking about 1v1. He's going to demolish me, playing on the ceiling and everything. I got to go Endpoint, man. It's too much mechanical ability. They always have fun while they're playing as well. The mentality, the NRG mentality that they're copying, it's on point. Endpoint.
Listen, usually I would go Endpoint.
Oh, no.
But I'm already learning from this land experience, man.
That's so true.
I'm already learning. I heard that boy Calm all the way from over here. All the way from over every
That's a
single
fact.
time
Wow.
they need a moment, Calm is screaming. Does anybody on Endpoint have that CJ hype? I don't think so, man. All it takes is a couple clutch moments, fever, a couple of double taps. You're going to have CJ screaming across the Seiko. Is he going to be ready to handle it? And you got to think about it. Endpoint might have a little PTSD. Going up against Renegades, man. Listen, they started them off slow early, and I think they might do it again. I'm going Renegades. I'm going Renegades in this one. Nice said and done.
Okay, man. Bates is convincing me here. Bates is convincing me here. Look,
We're all CJ fans.
Everyone wants to see CJ win.
No. I want to see him lose because then he's on the desk with us.
Oh,
so I would prefer
come
that.
on.
See, I like
Join
that.
us.
Let him
Come
go
join
out.
us.
Let him go out on his own terms. Let him go. We got plenty of great people on the desk already here. I think I'm going to go with Renegades on this one. I think CJ and Cammy and Fever can get loud especially if they
Loud and
score
proud.
early, strike first, get in the heads. The same way we saw V1 get in the phases heads here. I think we see the upsets, and it's been an upset kind of day.
It has been.
My goodness, we're going to be a split desk down here. How split is chat, though? I want to know this one. This one seems a little pretty close there. 57 going to Endpoint here. What? Okay, so Bates, the attitude's all great, but when it comes to what's happening on the pitch here, what does Renegades need to do to shut down a player like Seiko?
You don't.
You play around him?
You hope he has a bad day.
You gotta hope that you gotta give him. You gotta hope that he is, like Gibbs said, having a little bit of an off day and of himself. I mean, he gets his space, he gets his time. He's probably the most threatening player in the game itself. What you gotta do is you gotta neutralize Metza and relating wave to the greatest extent possible, and I'll probably make you as successful as possible. That's what I think.
And this is small region versus big region. Last time around, Fall Major, 3-12 small regions versus big regions. One of those wins was here, but most of the time, NA in Europe, they take down these other regions. They are huge favorites here, absolutely. But if there's a bad day by him, that star player in Seiko, there's a chance because Endpoint, they rely so heavily on him.
Do you truly believe Seiko's about to have a bad day, though, Gibbs?
No, I don't. I mean, he just yawned, so I'm a little worried. But
oh, no, get that man a Red Bull.
Yeah, please. We need some energy drinks out there ASAP. But like, I don't think he will. But at the same time, it's like one game. could be the difference. We know with the momentum, we know with CJ yelling, you never know what can happen. We saw it in Group A, version 1. They come out on top right now. A lot of that is just the hype, just riding that high. We'll see if Endpoint can make sure that they're ahead of the curve the entire time.
And then in game ones are really big in these series, especially for a team like FaZe. That's something I should have thought about earlier. FaZe probably walked in thinking they were going to take game one against V1. Endpoint, I'm going to say they're a little bit more mature. I'm a little more mature, a little bit more understanding that anything can happen on here. So maybe they won't react as badly as if once they lose game one, if they aren't to lose game one. But once you take game one, it's anybody's series, in my opinion. Yeah, that shakes it all up.
Roldis, I mean, I think we used to always talk about game one. It's like, oh, it's these feelers. Well, teams kind of figuring out what they do. I feel like now, game one is the hit them with your hardest punch, hit them with the strategy you came in with, and then adapt moving forward. Do you see that similar, that continuing on in the games that you play?
Yeah, no, 100%. You want to have that momentum to start off the bat, and that's what teams are feeding off, especially at this LAN. So I think it's a good point going forward that the first win is going to be maybe the whole win.
Game one setting the tone for the match. Who's going to get it here in Renegades versus Endpoint? A storied rematch in LANs as far as we're concerned here for RLCS 21 and 22. Let's get over to the pitch and see who's going to take it down. Endpoint in the blue, Renegades in the orange, the Verizon Skybox.
Endpoint and Renegades. Renegades trying to get past the top 8 performance, and Endpoint just trying to get revenge from losing this matchup in the fall major. Chiefs, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, definitely should be an excellent match no matter which way you dice it. I think there's a lot of good points that you can look at. You know, Endpoint tends to have a much stronger counterattack game, and they tend to play a lot of defense, so if Renegades are able to get out there and apply that pressure early on, they may get the momentum that Roldis was talking about on the desk. The only problem is Endpoint has grown by leaps and bounds since the fall major. Seiko is an incredibly dangerous force and would not be surprised to see the Endpoint counterattack crack through the Renegades defense once or twice.
You got to think, too, on Endpoint's side of the field, they have a lot in terms of offensive firepower. You see Wave up with the ball there, but Fever's going to get a beat, forcing Seiko. Oh, that's a big whiff from Seiko, and Fever will score that goal.
A rough start to this series, to say the least. I mean, Relating Wave trying his best to hang with it, but Fever, way to understand the angles, get up in front, and Seiko, I mean, he really probably wasn't even thinking he was going to have to make a save from right there, just couldn't get up in time.
Got to get the land jitters out the way. I remember Wave saying that at the fall major after their first day. And now, looks to be part of the case here. As you see Seiko up with the ball. Gets the flip reset, uses the flip, tries to carry it past the entire Renegades defense. And Mets looking for a pass middle to Wave, but it will be blocked out. Renegades defense holding up here early.
Really got to like that patience from the Renegades defense as well. Explosions in the midfield, and that's really the big thing is you can't get drawn too far into whatever type of air dribble Seiko's going to bring at you, because he can throw you a lot extra space to make sure you understand what he's doing, because he's exceptionally powerful at breaking down defenders.
See Cammy launching that one downfield. Going to bring some space here to Renegades. They get some offensive pressure. How long can they hold on to it? When Seiko's on the ball, not really that long. You see him now struggling to maintain possession. CJ will get a big clear, and now we'll see Renegades again on the offense. Haven't amounted to much, but that shot, that testing shot from Cammy, forcing a double commit. As Endpoint, they're able to get the ball downfield as well, but we haven't seen too many shots from them either.
Yeah, I'm really liking Renegade's approach as well, because both teams taking very, very deep rotation back for both sides. Seiko uncontested here as Fever coming out of his own corner, able to make a clear out to the side. But when you're so focused on making sure you don't give anything up, then you do kind of lose a little bit of ability to put extra pressure on a defense.
We're going to see exactly how much pressure Renegades can hold on to. We got 3 minutes left in this first one. Relating Wave up, looking for the win on that challenge, but will be blocked out. CJ with a touch off. Now, Seiko gets it past one. Mets are looking for a 50. Endpoint with some decent offensive pressure here. And for Renegades, I mean, this is really good. CJ looking for a shot, almost. That one went just right off the top of the crossbar. We'll get cleared away.
Great pressure overall from Renegades. You have to like the willingness to try and drive something home right there, just off the crossbar, but that's what we're talking about. Endpoint, they tend to play a lot of defense, and Renegades slowly starting to sink their teeth in a little bit more here as Kami buying some extra time with the midfield. and Endpoint just trying to find an option to get out of their own half, reset a little bit of that field position, and have some extra space to work with, try and get it going back the other way.
We'll see how these teams handle with this midfield space. Right now, Seiko the only one with boost and needs it. That one's going to bounce off the backboard. Fever a little bit too fast. And now, Cammy trying again. This is really good setup here for Renegades. But will they be able to hold on to the ball? Will drop down. CJ, will miss that one. Cammy gets bumped. Wave is going to shoot. And Seiko will pick up the tying goal.
Really surprised to see Renegades break down there in the midfield. I mean, CJ just totally came up empty, and Seiko got a big Cammy going back the other way. So, Endpoint, they find a way to break out of their own half, and tough approach for Renegades. Two people not able to get the hands on it and concede one that they probably feel they shouldn't have given up.
Everything seemed to be, in form there for Renegades. And it's an open net look for Endpoint. Now everything's all tied up. And oh my goodness, you see Seiko with that carry, big 50 win. Able to get this one pushed through, but only for a certain amount of time. Here's CJ. Touch out. Gives that one up to Seiko. Popped into the air. What's he going to do? Has one flip. Has two flips. Activates them and gets it past the defense on the goal line, but nothing doing with that play.
Gotta like the timing of Fever's approach there. Yeah, he let him have the first flip reset to make the push forward, but after that, he's a lot more committed to a trajectory, as that's going to pinball around the blue box and going to clear it away with Relating Waves touching. Pressure being put on here by Endpoint with the final minute remaining. Can they keep a wall up at the midfield, though? And a huge amount of space for Renegades to get a free clear, but see if Renegades can make it back in time for this Endpoint transition.
This is an amazing opening game here for Renegades right now. I mean, just to have the lead for so long, and then at the same time, they're forcing Endpoint as Seiko trying to get that solo play, still being stopped there. The defense from Renegades is holding on. They've been able to match the offense that Endpoint has thrown out, and 30 seconds left, we're still tied in regulation.
Gorgeous catch from CJ as well, trying to force Renegades back into being the playing, controlling players on the field. Is that one top left bar down and out? Oh, so close.
More pressure. Final few seconds on the clock. Metzler Norris in an awkward spot. That one, it pitches off the post. Went for a demo. Cammy now, slow ball. That one drops now. Ball still in the box. Can Renegades do something with it? No, it's going the other way. Does Endpoint have possession? Relating Wave gets challenged early, and that will hit the ground. Overtime in game one.
Could have easily been Renegades' game here. A lot of tough shots to save for Endpoint's defense, and thankfully the fourth man, the crossbar, got it done for him a couple times here in regulation. Endpoint definitely needed to make some adjustments. Renegades threatening.
Maybe a chance here. Good beat. Can CJ get this to Cammy? He will be able to have possession and has all the boost for Renegades. Gives up the ball. CJ and Fever still on the way back, just trying to recover. And CJ comes in. Rotations have been pretty good for Renegades to be able to still play on the ball, even with low boost. But there's Wave. There's Wave! Wave gonna end game one in overtime.
Excellent job here from Endpoint, capitalizing on the mistake. CJ and Cammy colliding, and the third man back for Fever. Thinking someone's going to go for a challenge. He's ready to move forward and play support for him, and it all just collapsed right there with the team bump and Relating Wave. Thank you very much. All the way home with it.
Yeah, it's great to see Renegades be able to have so much pressure and kind of command space on the field, but you have to look out for Endpoint because Relating Wave is a quiet threat on the field always. If he has enough space, if he can take a free shot or even just have like free time to carry the ball, he will be a threat that, sometimes it's really hard to stop. A very slow start here for Endpoint. You saw that with that first goal scored. Renegades did a great job of holding on to it, but it just kind of fell out of their hands.
It really did. I mean, a couple of goals that Renegades felt like I probably shouldn't have let either of those ones into the net, and then, of course, end up losing it in overtime. And to top it off, the shooting was so close. I mean, if Renegades put two of those shots in the top corner, there's no way Endpoint was taking that one back from them. So I think Endpoint should count themselves fortunate. They played a pretty solid game, but you got to give credit where it's due. I do think Renegades played the better game in game one. They just didn't come away with the win.
Only one shot difference there. 7 shots to 8, and you can count that one that went in as the final one for Relating Wave there. So it was a pretty even first matchup between these two. And when you think about it, right, you look at Seiko, you look at just, again, he's expected to perform here on this stage.
Absolutely.
That kind of comes with a little bit of pressure. But then you look at Renegades, that drive that this team has, like they're not going to stop. Game 2 on your screen here. Renegades definitely looking to make up for that first one. Offense a little quiet. They're able to put on the shot numbers, but they lack the goals. They just have to fix up those rotations as we get going.
You can definitely see the work that's come of their labor being out here for 3 weeks earlier. I mean, Endpoint was a top team in Europe at one point not so long ago, the #1 team in Europe, and Renegades really giving them a run for their money there in game 1, so not to be taken lightly. Little team bump from Endpoint right there, really going to weaken their ability to press here.
Oh, man. Little 3-point passing play. Relating Wave dropped that one. Mets was a little slow to get there, but we'll try this one. He gets a touch off the ceiling, tries to play the 50 out, but it's a good 50 from Cammy. Endpoint already starting things off well offensively as Seiko almost looks for another double flip reset. He's so mechanical.
That's what I was talking about. I mean, you give the ball to Seiko on the air dribble. That's why you have to be real careful about how you approach him, because if you overcommit one way or the other, he's got the ability to just flip the ball another direction and make you look stupid on defense. It's so tough to defend that guy.
Oh, that's a mistake. Will they be punished for it? They will. Endpoint strike first.
Real nice job here. Endpoint gaining early possession, never letting go. CJ overcommitting a little too far there in the corner. Needed that corner boost and kind of the play tracking itself over, bounced off the sidewall over his shoulder and just not in position to come out and attack that ball. And Renegades give up another one.
The Renegades, they're playing, I'd say, rotationally wise, positionally wise. They're in pretty good spots, but the problem is just whenever it's time to make the touch, either someone just misses or someone just barely gets the wrong touch, and then things just fall apart. Endpoint are waiting for those opportunities, and they jump on it like that.
Well, that's the Endpoint MO, you know what I mean? That's why they play so much defense, because they're so consistent on that side of the ball, and then their ability to just point the scalpel through the tiny gap in your defense that materializes every so often is really what drives their winning ways. That's a nice save from Related Wave away from his own net, but Renegade's first chance here to try and put some pressure on him, but nobody really in position to sit tight at the midfield and try and box Endpoint in, and that was one of the big things that I really needed Renegades to be doing consistently if I felt they needed to come out on top here.
Talking about Renegades and them being able to have offensive pressure. They're under pressure right now. You see them trying to just get things together. That's not a good touch because Seiko has the ball and it's in your net just like that. Second goal for Seiko this game.
Nice camp there from Seiko at the top of the box. Stole the corner boost, rotated out, and Kami trying his best. Really not his fault for not getting a boomer clear there. Was kind of approaching the ball from a very strange angle and unfortunately caught it a little bit higher on the ball than he would have liked, and Seiko realized it, jumped all over it.
And you see from the cams, you know, it's both teams' first match of the day. Little bit, you know, just trying to get locked in, trying to, you know, realize how things flow. And that's perfectly normal. But we've seen other teams play today with a lot of energy. And maybe that might be the difference maker here. Renegade's looking a little quiet. Might need to see some of that from CJ.
They got to get something going first. And I think even if they just put a couple of nice shots on target towards the net, they'll really start to settle back in, because game 1 was a totally different game than what you're seeing right here. I mean, game 1, it was a very even back and forth, a lot of opportunities for both teams, and here Renegades have been struggling to even hold pressure at the midfield line as Fever with a nice demo and Relating Wave will kind of force Seiko to buy extra time with that air dribble and put a lot of pressure on Metza to try and keep the ball over on the orange half.
Fever now playing this in the corner. Good help from CJ. That's pass 2. Metza needs a bit challenge here. Loses it. Is there anyone there for Renegades? Cammy at the goal line. And it's blocked out. Endpoint got back in time, and they put up a defensive wall.
What a great save from Endpoint, to be honest. No idea how they kept it out. You thought for sure that the angle of the approach was going to be absolutely perfect for Renegades. And Metza just comes in as support and just skates that ball along the floor and out to safety. And now you're kind of scratching your head if you're Renegades, because that definitely felt like something that could get you back into the game. And still down 2 here and starting to look down the barrel of the sweep.
Looking likely, unless we see some magic from Renegades here. Final minute. Infield pass. Cammy She's going to give that to Seiko. Off the ceiling, does get a flip, but it's a good read from Fever to block out. Still, these 50s not looking good for Renegades. They're under so much pressure. Still haven't been able to get the ball out. Finally, they can start the transition. That's a shot, but it's high, and oh my goodness, what a play!
Whoa, Fever, way to go up and get this one. Pass to CJ, and how about the read from Cammy? My goodness, Fever's going to steal away a gorgeous catch from Cammy. That's all Cammy as far as I'm concerned.
Listen, you said they needed something to get back into it. I think that was it. Now they just got to build more on this momentum. Final 30 seconds. Renegades with the ball out in front. It looks awkward. There's a demo.
Oh my gosh.
Fever won't be able to get to the ball, tries to redirect it. CJ pops it up high. And this one might fall. Time ticking down. Renegades gotta move. That one from Wave. Cammy looking for another touch out. Seiko has the read, looking for the double, and just blocked out before he can make contact. Mets plays that off the ceiling, but with 10 seconds left, Renegades have to move this ball downfield. Wave trying to kill all of the time, and with that touch from Seiko, it might have just happened. One final bounce, and going the length of the field isn't the task that they're up for. Oh my goodness, this ball is still in the air. Will bounce off the corner, but that bump will do it. Endpoint put this one on match point.
Definitely a rough ending for Renegades. I mean, what a redirect. Like you said, I wanted it to be the one to get them back into it, but unfortunately, field